Hi, guys, and welcome to GlenNeta Live. We have an amazing show for you today. It's a situation, really, topics that are really getting to me, and I want to know and weigh in with the professionals and see what they have to say. So, all of the mass shootings and the school shootings and things going on, me in particular being a mother of three, I want to know about some of the solutions and who better to bring on than a professional. So, today, we have a really good friend of mine, and she's going to take great care of us. She's going to answer any questions that we may have and also give us her perspective on this topic. So we have Jamine Moton. She is the CEO of the Skylar firm, which is a security firm right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Please welcome Jamine. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am amazing. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining me. Let's jump right in. Tell people who you are. Give us a good introduction. Tell us your background and tell us about the Skylar firm.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm originally from New Jersey, and after high school, I went to Clemson University, which I'm very proud of. Spent some time there, and then moved to Atlanta. Had an athletic career that gave me so many great and wonderful opportunities. Then I decided to, pursue law enforcement. When I was in high school, GlenNeta, you might not know this, but I was a bully's bully. You probably couldn't imagine that by my size.
Right.
And then taller, larger, louder than, the average student. And then being an athlete, that kind of, commands respect and attention. So anytime there was a bully that was getting bullied, I would always be the one to say, come on now.
Right. I can see that about you.
Yeah, it was cool because, I was the athlete, had some respect there. So I kind of used it to my advantage. So I kind of always had an idea that I would end up being the protector or some type of law enforcement professional, whether it be a judge or, special agent of some sort. And so from that, I kind of started the path of law enforcement and moved to Atlanta. Became a police officer with the Clayton County Police Department for about 5 to 6 years, had an amazing journey. And it was there that I learned so many things in the community, but it kind of birthed the passion of me to start my own business in the security industry. And I started the Skylar firm, 3.5 years ago. And I'm very, very proud to have the clients that we have. It's been awesome to be able to protect people for a living. Are you kidding me?
Right.
I am the luckiest person in the world. Major responsibilities.
Yeah.
But nonetheless excited to be able to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and let's talk about a female CEO of a security firm. Like, you're killing it right now, and you're an entrepreneur. You are a Black female entrepreneur, CEO of a security firm. So kudos to you.
Oh, man, I tell you, my brothers and my sisters, there's a family here. And, coming from Clayton County Police Department where, we're all blue. And, we don't really see through the lens of gender in that respect. But, it is a predominantly male driven industry. But at the same time, we've got some space and time, and we're going to own it and let them know that, we're here and we're here to stay.
Right. So tell us a little about some of your clients. Like, who do you guys protect? Who are your clients?
Well, what's interesting, and I know we're going to get into it a little bit, but one of the clients that I'm really, really excited about, do you remember the Emanuel 9 with the Charleston shooting, the church? Yes. I had the opportunity to protect some of those family members. And when I tell you it was an opportunity and experience I will never forget. I actually personally did that detail. So typically we put a team together and we service our clients. That one was dear to my heart because it was an active shooter in a church. I wanted to do that one. And it was really, really, really amazing to be able to protect and guard people from those types of threats.
Right. That's amazing. I am super proud of your success. I'm so proud to have you on today. Let's jump right into some of these topics that are really just been going crazy in the media. Let's talk about 18 school shootings that we've had in the United States since January 1st.
It's the hot topic right now.
Yes.
Everyone, whether they have a connection to the victim's family or they're like me, where they service and protect others, whether it's EP, whether you're a security guard or you're a police officer, it hit home whether you have children or not. I'm not lucky enough to I don't have children right now. But it still hits me in a place that, you can't help but get emotional when you think about what's happening in our country.
Right.
We have a problem and we need to come up with solutions to solve those problems. When you have parents who are concerned about sending their kids to school, not only is that a problem, but that's something that not only the private security industry, but also the law enforcement industry should come together to create a solution for those families.
Right. I agree 100%. Let's talk about the security industry and officer accountability. So you work on both sides. You've been a police officer, you've been on the road, you've been a detective. You've also, worked in the private sector. So tell us about working on both sides of that and officer accountability. What can we be doing differently?
Well, when I think of officer accountability, there's a couple different things that come to mind. One in particular is the stigma that comes with when you hear someone say the private security industry, right? So when you hear the word security guard, what is the first thing that comes to your mind, GlenNeta?
Security guard, I would think.
And beyond.
Honestly, not well trained, flashlight cop.
Right.
That type.
And so what's funny for me is I was a former police officer. I was a police officer formerly, and I'm actually three to 4 weeks out from that transition. So when my colleagues would hear security guard or security officer, it was comical, right? Because the security industry truly and honestly needs to be lifted. We have to lift our industry. So when I say accountability for the Skylar firm, when you think Skylar, you think concierge. Right? But you think concierge, but we want you to feel like you're getting the top-notch service, but we're dressed in a uniform. Right. So imagine that. We look good, we make you feel protected, you have no doubt that you're in good hands, and there's absolutely no question that our clients know that they're going to get a solid deliverable. That's not typical in our industry. Right. So I challenge all of the security companies in Atlanta to lift the standard in our industry. Do not let a police officer, not a police officer, well, them too sometimes, but don't let a security guard be on a site looking crazy. Right? Because truly and honestly, if we can go back to the shootings, I believe that the only way that we can do this, and what I mean this is to solve this issue of protecting our country, is that all agencies and angles come together and work together. I agree. We have this epidemic of shortage of resources in the law enforcement community, but we have plenty of resources in the private sector. Why are we not working together? Right. And when you say the private sector, there is a negative stigma on security services, especially when you ask me, what do I think when I hear security guard? Right. So what is this negative stigma? Like, what does it mean? And why is it here? I just, accountability, and we have an amazing Secretary of State that ensures that the licensures are where they're supposed to be, that everyone has their blue card and is able to work as an armed guard. So that's not the issue. The issue is after you get your company licensure, then where's that standard of excellence? Right. So with the police department, you expect when that police officer shows up to your house, you demand a certain level of excellence. Of course. So the Skylar firm, we demand that same level of excellence for our clients, but also for our officers as well. So we see, on TV, we see, of course, Secret Service or these private security officers that are protecting like celebrities. Is that what you guys do, or is that just like all on TV? Kind of explain that to me so we understand exactly what you guys do. So the Skylar firm is a full service security company. So we can be contracted to do private investigative services. Oh, okay. Yeah. So if we have criminal attorneys that we work with and we assist them with their cases. We do the PI work. We also do the executive protection. Have an event in the city, a festival in the city. One of our first clients that I got to give a shout out to, the Atlanta Caribbean Carnival was our first client almost 3.5 years ago. So an amazing staple in the city of Atlanta, and we were honored to protect that. And so we do private events, we do construction projects, we do government projects. We're a certified minority-owned business here in the city of Atlanta. We do highway projects. So anything that you can think of in the security industry where you would need protection, we do that. We also do where, let's say your house was burglarized, GlenNeta, and you need someone to come and just kind of make you feel safe for 2 to 3 days after that incident occurred. We would offer those general patrols as well.
Because our local law enforcement does not have the staff to do that type of thing, correct?
Right. So you have the local agency, police department or sheriff's department, and then you have a Secretary of State govern private security industry.
Right.
So we're all licensed, because when you think about license, you think about a post-certified police officer.
Right.
The security industry also has a govern. So when you want a guard, you're not just getting a person off the street, you're getting a person that has credentials.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So let's talk about what the solution is. So I'm not understanding why, if we've had 18 mass shootings in our schools already in 2018, and this is only February, explain to me either why our government has not hired your company, a company similar to yours, or just put more security guards or, more security to protect our students in the schools. Like, why hasn't that happened? Or what do you feel as the CEO of a security firm is the solution? Please help me with that.
So when I speak with my clients, each client has a particular way of looking at how they want to feel safe. So there are some people, let's say I'm the principal of a school, and I don't want my school to look like a military.
Okay. Why is that? Does that scare people? You don't
want the kids to grow. Would you want your kid to go to school and think that they're in a war zone? No, but
not a war zone. But me personally, like, I'm not one of those people who goes to an event and see police officers or I see cars and I'm saying, oh, okay, we're not going to have a good time because the police are going to be messing with us. I'm looking at them like, great, they're here. If something happens, we have security on deck. So I don't know. I'm a little different because I have also worked in law enforcement as well. So I like to see my people, and I like to see security guards out. So I would feel better, knowing that my children had security in the schools, but no military. Do I want to walk around with machine guns? Nah,
Yeah, machine guns, but I think there's a balance. I think there's a balance, and the conversation needs to be had.
Right.
Now, I do believe, if you were to ask me what the solution is, I do believe there's a nice marriage between local law enforcement and the private security industry.
Okay.
And we're like I said earlier, we're combating shortage of resources.
Okay.
So you have the city of Atlanta, who it has a major shortage of police officers.
Okay.
You have all over the metro Atlanta that are struggling to just cover their jurisdictional area.
Right.
So we need to have another layer of security for the schools. Where are we going to?
Let me ask you on that then. Is that something that our local government, our local commissioners or our local city council, is that something that they should consider budgeting for? Like, even if it were some type of tax increase that I would have to pay or that citizens would have to pay, is that something that we should be considering? Is that an option?
So I think so. I think we need to have the conversation. So local government, the HOAs in the community, people with children, we need to have a forum to discuss what does that look like and what are people willing to invest in to make that happen.
Right.
There's a stat that I found. Since Sandy Hook, more than 400 people have been shot in over 200 school shootings since that one incident. So we have a problem. It's not going anywhere. So we gotta talk to those stakeholders in the community to find out what federal agencies and the private sector to see where we have these resources, even if it's a strategic rollout.
Right.
So you might not be in the school for 8 hours every day, but if the threat knows that there's a layer of protection, it's going to slow the hemorrhaging.
Right.
And that's my perspective on that.
Yeah, and I value your perspective and your opinion on this. Let me ask you about let's talk about technology. So in an effort of not walking around with the machine guns, as I mentioned, because of course I don't want to see that. That's, extreme, although I wouldn't mind them having one on deck in the school in case somebody want to step up in there. But, what type of technology is in place that would kind of make security easier or more manageable, or just talk about technology and security?
So with the Skylar firm, I don't know if I told you, but my background is in human resources training and development. So I got my undergrad from Clemson University in criminal justice and sociology. And then I got my master's in HR training and development. So for the first 3 years of my business, I couldn't help but see through the lens of my HR degree. So I noticed that there are a lot of problems in our industry that can be easily solved with non-traditional services. Okay. So we are really excited about being a part of the conversation and hoping that we can leverage use of technology with our service delivery. But you know what? When it comes to the traditional security service offering, something as simple as how we do our background checks.
Right.
A lot of those companies, are you doing a background check?
Yeah, right? Seriously, are you really doing it, or are you just trying to put somebody in a uniform? Because that makes a difference.
Let's have that conversation. So you have security professionals. Now, we're not talking about law enforcement because Lord knows internal affairs will come for you. Okay, right. So in the private sector, talking about accountability. Use of technology. There are so many companies out there that can do a background check for you without you going down to the local agency and getting that done. Right. So educating our community on the offerings that are out there. Accountability. How do you know that the officer is even on site? Yeah. So there are things that I do manually that help us answer some of those questions that, that technology could potentially answer. But, technology is taking over, technology is taking over. Yes. The world. Yeah.
I think we learned that seeing Black Panther. I know this is not a real place, but I mean, just to see that and the potential, technology is completely taken over.
I need to see that movie.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, I need to.
Girl, let me tell you all about it. No, I'm kidding.
On Facebook Live, girl.
I'm not going to ruin it for everybody. I'm going to give y'all another week. Now, we're going to come back and do another show where we're just going to discuss Black Panther. I'm trying to be nice and let you guys, go see it. But if you don't go see it, I'm going to talk all about it. I'm going to tell you everything that happened. You're going to be real mad with me, okay?
I've heard so many good things about that movie, but technology is taking over our world. Right. And we have to continue to ask the question, how can we be better? How can we service our clients better? Right. When they voice concerns, how are we answering those questions? And sometimes the answer is a non-traditional answer. And so Skylar Firm is excited to be a part of some of those conversations.
Awesome. I was reading online just some other strategies that people were talking about how we can fix this problem. So they were saying stricter gun laws, ban on assault weapons, age limits on purchasing guns, and mental health monitoring and treatment. What are your thoughts?
So obviously the system that is in place right now is not working.
Right. We know that. Right.
Yeah, that we know. There is absolutely no doubt. We also know for a fact that our schools are not protected. Those are two things that we know for a fact are in place. Right. We're talking basics here. When I was at Clemson, they taught us that if there's a problem, create a system to solve it. Right. But you've got to stop. You've got to stop and slow down and say, what is the problem? What system can I put in place? Right. So from educating the schools, from tactical training in the schools, to educating the parents to know when something is not right with the student, whether it be their child or a friend.
Checking those backpacks.
In the backpacks. Come on. Yes.
Their rooms, searching their rooms. I search everything.
Be aware. Check the phone. Check what they're posting on social media.
Right. I was going to say, check their Facebook pages. Yeah. Their Instagram.
I read an incident article the other day where the suspect said what he was going to do on Facebook.
Yeah. And that's the only thing that I feel about that. Like, he said it. Yeah, we should have our, we should be on guard about it, but he didn't say when. So my thing is, that means that we have to be prepared for anything at any time.
Anytime.
Right.
So you do know there's a market, an underground market for weapons.
Right.
So a lot of people are debating whether stricter laws will prevent that from happening, because typically the people who are doing these types of crimes aren't obeying the laws anyway. So getting weapons in the hands of a suspect, that's up for debate. Okay. Got guns all over the streets in Metro Atlanta. Right. So I do believe there's an answer from the legislative and legal perspective in terms of the process of gun control. I believe there's an answer from the schools that needs to be questions that need to be answered. I believe there's a response from the parents. Yeah. To answer these questions. So I don't believe it's one solution. I think we as community need to come around and really face the tough pill that the system is broken, and the stakeholders need to come together to figure out what that solution is.
I agree. And on that, I don't want us to pay attention to it when it happens to us. I don't want it to happen to us and then we say, oh, well, now let's find a solution to it. Because honestly, looking at the news, I pray for these families and I pray for these communities and these schools, because they're losing good people, their friends, their families, their teachers, their colleagues. That could be anybody, and I don't want to wait until it happens to us to say, well, I guess it's a good time to find a solution now.
But, we're very reactive.
Right.
So we don't do a lot of predictive analytics. We don't do a lot of predictive analysis.
Right.
And in the security industry, you have to. But we're taught to be crisis responsive and crisis driven. Guess what? When I was in that police uniform, I didn't go to the call until they called me and said, go. And there you go. So we have to, kind of rethink about how we respond to things and ask the question before it occurs. So now everybody's talking about it. But guess what? It's not that it's too late, but we need to catch up to our community. We need to catch up to those things that are going on in our community. And the clients that I love, and we got a phone call earlier today, I love it. And I asked the question, why do you need our service? And they say, well, we're just, being proactive, and we just want to have something in the community to protect our citizens.
Nice. Okay. Right.
Because if you call us on the back end when there's burglaries and everything in the community, we can clean it up, but why not have a strategy in place so that we can just, keep our citizens safe,
Yeah. What about those clients that call you and like, oh, we received a threat. We're going to need your company because we got a bomb threat for this event Saturday. How do y'all handle that?
So those clients, we handle it, but we have to pull in
extra. I would be like, well, you're going to get the special package.
I call it the mojo. Okay.
Right.
There's a name for it. So I say I'm known to create the mojo. So if you want me to solve the problem, you've got the problem solvers. However, it's going to cost you a little bit more, but we'll solve the problem. Right. Because if we would have been able to have that conversation months ago, we probably wouldn't even be here.
Exactly.
But people get nervous and scared, and we enjoy kind of being that layer of protection for them to kind of calm down a little bit. So when they're in the hands of Skylar, they're relaxed and they know that we're going to do what we have to do to protect them.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to give you an opportunity now just to give us a final word on this topic. If it's something you want the community to know or the audience there, and I'm going to put back up on the screen for more information, email info@skylarfirm.com. So go ahead and plug a final message for us. And if there's another way to stay connected to us, then, give us that too.
Yeah, well, that's our direct email address, and feel free to email us if you have any additional questions about the show. If you want to get in touch with us for services, you can email us. But my heart is the community, and you know that. Yeah. And in more than making money, more than having a celebrity clientele, which we've done that. More than anything that you can think of on the face of the security industry, at the end of the day, people want to be safe, GlenNeta.
Yes, I agree.
You walk downtown in the city, you want to be safe. When you're in your home, you want to feel protected, whether you're in there by yourself or you're in there with your loved ones. When you go to school, you want to be able to go to school and say that my child will come home the same way they left.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. So would you like to plug a message to the President of the United States?
That's a whole nother show. Glenn.
Okay, that's another show. Just thought I'd give you the opportunity.
I thank you for that because, let me tell you something. My heart is not only the community, but it's leadership.
Right.
I will say this to Mr. Trump, President Trump. You cannot expect other people to be differently than what you are. As a leader, you set the tone. And I've learned that even back when I was in high school, they taught me that. Right. You set the tone. So President Trump, you have an opportunity to set the tone for this entire nation. So the way you speak, the way you respond to conflict, the way you answer questions, the way you answer or handle yourself in difficult situations, you represent a nation that has an amazing democracy. So you're not going to get solutions by fighting. You're not going to get solutions by being combative. So I would love to see more of a spirit of unity, of love, of support, and commitment to our nation. And I think if we can start with that conversation, everything else will flow, including the issue that we have in our school. I think it starts at the head.
Well, I think that is a perfect closeout. I thank you so much for joining me on the show today. I can't wait to get more involved in your projects and to find out more that you have coming up. So again, if you guys want to connect, you can email info@skylarfirm.com. Don't forget to stay connected and follow my channel, GlenNeta Griffin, on youtube.com. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you again so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.